welcome to
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to
Everything entertainment. Such a beautiful thing to be entertained while the world's on fire. I love it.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
I will tell you this. Let's start it off like this. If you are listening to us from another country, we can give you all the information about what's happening in the United States right now. Because
and just be happy that you're there.
Just be happy that you are looking at us like these idiots instead of being here being like, oh, these idiots. Mm-hmm. You have to walk down the street past them every day. So anyway, what I want to start off with is Tyler Perry did his thing.
You gonna talk about?
I'm gonna talk about Straw.
I was gonna talk about Straw.
Well, we can talk about it together then.
Okay, we'll talk about it together. Okay.
Straw.
Okay.
This is Tyler Perry's best thing he's ever made.
Are you sure?
I think so.
We might feel differently about this.
I think so. There are some things that could have been tightened up, but compared to some other things, there's nobody in the background drinking a fake cup of water. There's nobody in the background eating a fork that doesn't have any food on it. Yeah. So, I feel like.
But I did catch some continuity things. I'll bring it up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So just go over the cast. So the name of the movie is Straw. You can catch it on Netflix. Taraji P. Henson plays Janiyah Wilkins. Wiltkins. Okay. We have Sherry Shepherd, who plays Nicole. Mm-hmm. Tayana Taylor, who plays Detective Kay Raymond.
Yep.
Sinbad.
Yes,
Sinbad. So glad to see Sinbad. Sinbad actually plays the neighbor to Taraji.
Yeah.
I know that. Is it the neighbor or?
Yeah, I think he's the neighbor. He lives there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he said he was homeless.
Oh yeah, he's homeless.
Yeah. So he just hangs. He just hangs out there.
Yeah, that's true.
So Sinbad is in there. His name is Benny. You have Rockman Dunbar, who plays Chief Wilson. Ashley Verscher, she got on my nerves. Okay,
she got on everybody.
That was Tessa George. Tessa got on my nerves.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tessa, you gonna get everybody killed. Mm-hmm. You that one that needs to just not even be in this equation. I'm surprised ain't nobody. If I was in her, I'll come back to it. Just remind me about the Tessa thing. Anyway, you have Glenn Turman, who plays Richard, and he plays a mean person. He did
an excellent
job. Yeah. He said, "I'm sorry." No, I'm not sorry. Yeah. So let me see if there's anybody else really that we need to know. Not really, no. So Straw is a very deep movie, but I feel like it's deep for two parts.
And by deep, more emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally deep. Like it is a emotional roller coaster, but it's when I say it's deep, it's like you can see what people go through on a normal day.
Yeah.
Like this is like you can understand how people would snap or how any of these things would happen. Mm-hmm. Once you see a movie like this. But then it's like when you are like that, you also have to think about your mental health, because if you are having a bad day as bad as her day was.
Yeah.
Then, also the movie is just one day. But if you're having a bad day as she is having a bad day, then you definitely need to check on your mental health to make sure that you are good. Mm-hmm. So it starts off with Janiyah, which was Taraji P. Henson, her and her daughter laying in the bed, and all you hear is music, and it's actually the neighbor's music. Yeah. So she has it to where her daughter has soundproof, noise canceling headphones and everything. Yeah. So she gets up, she wakes her up, she's like, "Come on, we gotta go, to go ahead and start off her day because her mom has to go to work." But it's just. It starts off with the landlord asking for the money.
Yep.
And then it's actually I think it starts off with the food. I think she made the food for her daughter, and I think her daughter wanted to eat it.
Yeah.
It was again.
She was trying to figure out how she's going to get her daughter her lunch.
Before
lunchtime, but also the landlord catches her as she's going out, and she's like, "I'm going to give you the money by 10 a.m."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But I think that it was great. So basically, it's just from there, it's one bad thing after another bad thing after another bad thing. So the whole gist of the movie that I got out of it was, okay, she knows that she's behind on her bills.
Yep.
She needs her check.
Yep.
all she wants to do is go ahead and get her check cashed so she can take care of all her debt.
Yeah,
And make sure her and make sure she's doing okay. So this is what she wanted to do. Now she knew that it was her payday, and she was like, "Okay, what I'll do is I'll go on my break to go to the bank, and I'll have your money." She says that back to the landlord. She tells her daughter that once she cashes her check, then she'll bring the $40 to the school, so she doesn't have to worry about eating the free lunches. She can go ahead and get the better lunch.
She didn't want her kid to get embarrassed.
Yeah,
by
be embarrassed.
Kids picking on her because she got the free lunch.
Yeah, and they picked on her because the lunch lady actually was the one who was just like, you can have good food if you, had money or whatever. It's like, why would you even say that to a kid? So it's just like I said, it's an emotional roller coaster, but it is so detailed, like of things that actually people go through. Yeah. Like, and I understand, like single mothers, it's hard for them to keep a job if they always have to. Their kid is sick, or their kid is bad. Their kid is getting into something. It's like, so it's going to be hard where you can't just always up and leave your job. Like if you're going to be a single mother, you have to have your own business, basically. So you have to be your own boss.
Yeah, you have to be your own boss. You have to, maybe if you're working from home where they can't tell that you're
that you're
doing
gone.
something, gone or something like that. But yeah, it just makes it hard.
Yeah, so that just makes it hard for her. She works at a grocery store. I don't know why so early in the morning. Everybody's at that grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it the first or something maybe?
I don't know. Well, yeah, he did say something. Remember when the lines and stuff?
Yeah,
he was like, the first of the month is always the worst time or something like that. So I think it was the first of the month where everybody was there. And then, but my thought too was, how did she think she was going to get away to be able to do all of this on her payday? Because you have to know, if you work in the grocery store, that probably is going to be hectic, and it's going to be hard for me to sneak away. And I can ask my girlfriend to help out.
Well, no, she said at 10 o'clock was her lunch break, and that's why she was going to go to the bank.
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock in the morning.
Is a lunch break?
Well, her break. I'm sorry.
A break. But a break is like 15 minutes. A break isn't go to the bank across the street, drive all the way home, give her money, then go to the school, give your daughter what she got to get, and then get back. When she got back, he said, "You've been gone 2 hours." But I mean, that
was also part of some other stuff that happened.
But still, it was probably going to be at least 45 minutes.
I mean, okay, that's fine. But at least somebody would be able to cover for her for that little bit of time.
I think that's what she was looking for her girlfriend
to go ahead and.
But still, I was like, okay, that's a lot to try to get through in a break. And so was she first of all? Because I'm watching it.
Well, actually, we don't even know how far the school was.
From her house.
Right. Or how far her job is from the school or anything like that. We don't know the distance.
The bank was across the street.
That's the only thing. It was a parking lot was the difference. The parking lot was the difference.
The bank was across the street from her job, so we did know that. Yeah. Right. Everything else you didn't really know the difference. Although you did see her riding on the street because of something that happened on the street too. So it wasn't like immediately around the corner, but still. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like for me, I was watching it. Definitely an emotional roller coaster. Like it was like, ooh, that's a lot for a person to put up with and have to deal with in one day. And I actually was getting my hair done, so I'm in the salon while my loctician.
So has she already watched it?
No, she was watching it for the first time.
I see. I wouldn't have been able to do your hair and watch it at the same time. I would not.
Well, the thing is that what was funny with us was that we were talking about all the inconsistencies in it. So she wasn't even emotional about it as a mother who raised.
So that's not paying attention to the movie.
She was watching the movie. She was hearing, and she was sighing. She was like, "Oh my God, like what more can happen to this woman?" We were talking about that. But then it was other things where we were like, "Wait. Did this just? So, but one of the things that for me, I was just like, okay, I'm confused because, all right, so FBI comes up and we won't go into all the details, but the FBI pulls up. It's daytime.
When they pull up, it was daytime?
When the day pulled up, it was daytime. The very next scene, it's night and they're acting like when did the FBI get here? Like, and I'm like, they got there 14 hours ago. I mean, they got there in the daylight, and now Karaji's inside. Like, when did they get here? And it's like, obviously, they must have been here because it's nighttime. And then it was nighttime in the front, outside. But then it looked like it was still daytime on the inside.
Oh, but see, the inside, that was just lights behind the thing because you have to go behind the wall. That's what I had to figure
out. I said, okay, so I think that's just lights. It's not
because remember, they go through that door to go ahead and go to the bathrooms and everything.
Everything back there. Yeah. But then I was like, but still, there's no continuity of where did this long gap of time go from when the FBI got there to her still being on the phone with her at night, and then the FBI taking over after that. And I'm like, it's night. So when the FBI got there, they just hung out for hours and they didn't do anything until after Tiana Taylor's character talked to her one more time. And then it was like, we're taking over. And it's like, I'm so confused. So anyway, so some of it was just a little inconsistent for me. But I thought Taraji made that movie. In my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
If it were not Taraji, if it was some other actress, I don't
know who could
think
have done it.
People would have enjoyed the movie as much. No. I think some of the character flaws that I picked up on would have been so much more glaring. Not character flaws, I can't say that. But like inconsistencies and incontinuity of the script and things, I think that would have stood out so much more if it wasn't for Taraji.
Yeah.
Taraji carried that whole movie. And then also Sherri Shepherd did an amazing job
very good.
Of being
like the auntie. She's like the auntie.
The manager of the bank. Yes. So I don't think I can't remember if you had mentioned that, but she was the manager of the bank. And so basically just her calmness, her niceness, her whatever, like everything that she did was like spot on of what you would want someone to do if you had a family member who was in crisis. Like she was just so, and knowing what she knew, because you know at the end what she knows too. Yeah. So then just knowing what she knew and how she handled the whole situation, I was just like, she did such a fantastic job. And so, and it was just so believable with the two of them. And then even the girl, like you said, the one that got on your nerves. So what were you going to say about her?
Oh, Tessa, let me tell you about this little wench. Okay. She says, cash my check.
Yep.
And that's all she said to you is, you cash my check. I need your ID. Okay, no, you're just going to cash my check. Okay, so now if it's getting to that point that she's like threatening you, because this is all on the trailer. Yeah. With the she has a pew. And you know she puts it up. She was like, "No, you gonna cash my check," because she's got to that breaking point.
Yeah, because she's like,
all I need is my check, and then everything will be better. Everything will be fine.
Right.
We'll have somewhere to live. I will go ahead and be able to feed my child. That's all I need.
Yep.
And Tessa, instead of cashing the check, that's all she asked for. She slid the check over to her with the gun. Cash this check. Why are you pulling out all
the money and pushing the button
and pushing the button?
And it's like, she just wants a check. And she's like, I didn't ask you for all that money. I don't want all that. I just want
my $521.
Exactly. She
spelled it out. 52 cents or however much it is. Yeah.
And she was like, I just want my money.
Check. Yeah. I'm not here to rob the bank.
And y'all are trying to, because the thing was that she came in as they were getting ready to close.
Yeah.
So therefore she's like, I just want my money so that I can pay my bills and get back into my place and do what I need to do. And that's it. That's all I want. Yeah. And it became this big, huge thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tessa, I get it because if anybody has a gun, you probably are supposed to push the button. Anyway, you probably get in trouble if you didn't.
I get that.
But
or else you're going to be in on it if you didn't.
But to give her all the money when she didn't ask for all that money, like that makes it look like it's a bigger felon than what it actually is. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, no, I didn't ask for that. I never told her I wanted that.
This whole movie could have been nothing if it wasn't for Tessa.
No, it wouldn't have been nothing because there was some stuff that happened.
I mean, but no. I mean, like. It
wouldn't have gone as long.
It would not have been. Her day might not have been as bad.
Her day was already bad before that.
But I'm saying, she in her mind.
Yeah.
When I cash this check, everything's gonna be good.
Okay. Yeah.
So therefore, she couldn't cash her check, and that's what it is.
Made everything.
That's what. Yes.
And all of that. Kind of stuff.
So I understand, like with the whole situation with work, I understand that. But with the whole check thing, it was
It was a whole different.
It was that was a whole different thing. So it's like
makes you wonder if she did cash her check, and she went home with that gun. Then what? Do you know what I mean?
It would have been a whole different movie. And that would probably have been a really good movie, too.
Like, what would have happened then? Because of what we now know. Yeah. Like, what would the difference be? But for people who've watched it, it's like, you know. So if you watched it, you can think, wow, what would that do?
But that would actually be a good movie to see how she would deal with it.
Yeah, once you watch it, then think of that afterwards. Like, what would that have looked like if she cashed her check?
Exactly.
Went to the lady then said, fine. Because the lady could have said, no. Sorry, your stuff is on the street. I've changed the locks. too bad, too sad. What would that situation look like? Versus, oh, okay, now that you gave me my money, finally. And if she's that back and behind, $500 probably ain't gonna cover it all.
I mean, anyway. But she lives in what looks like it used to be a motel that they turned into an apartment.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So so then does she get back in all her, stuff that was on, on the side and all of that stuff? But so it's just trying to figure out.
Yeah, so because she didn't cash the check, because Tessa didn't cash the check, it's Tessa, that wench. So Tessa, I was so livid. I was like, I felt myself.
Tessa was going to run for the front door.
I felt myself talking like mom through my teeth. I was like, if she don't shut it up. I felt it.
I felt like that other teller was like that. Like, if you don't shut up, like, just be quiet, stop it.
Yeah, but but I feel like Tessa was not taking light of the situation. She was me, not, okay, we are all together in this bank with this woman who has a gun.
Yeah.
She's just, oh no, y'all in here, but she got the gun.
Why y'all being nice to her?
Why you being nice to her?
You're being nice to her because she
has a gun.
And a potential
bomb. But it's like, lady.
We didn't even talk about a bomb. There was a possible bomb.
Yeah, but what it was that her daughter had a science fair project that was supposed to be made, and it was something with batteries and everything, and it was supposed to light up.
Yeah, and it makes noise.
Yeah, and it makes noise and lights
up. Nobody knew. We knew as the watcher, so
because
very
you see
early
it,
on.
Yeah, you see it in the first few minutes.
Yeah, in the first few minutes, because they woke up and she's taking her daughter to school, so you know that it is a science project. Yeah. But the entire movie, everybody else thinks it's a bomb
because it looks like a pipe bomb.
Yes, and so when you're thinking of Sherri Shepherd and Tessa and the other teller, I don't even remember her name, if they even gave her name.
Raya.
And then all of the police officers or FBI, everybody else thinks it's a bomb.
Yeah.
So therefore, it becomes, do you tell them that you don't have a bomb or do you keep that quiet? Because if you don't have a bomb, then they can raid in. But if you do have a bomb, then maybe they won't come in, so it's like all those kind of layers to it as well. But the other part that, what frustrated me probably equally as Tessa, she's telling y'all there was a man out there who was trying to kill her. If you get rid of him, she'll come out.
Yes.
Why did it take 11 hours?
But they were trying, though.
They were not trying to figure out who that man. No.
I think Tiana Taylor and wait. Let me finish my comment. Tiana Taylor and her, whatchamacallit, she was like, we got to find this police officer.
They said that long after. She said that when they hung up that phone with her, when she said there's somebody out here and he's going to come, and they was like, who is it? And she was like, it's a police officer and there's a woman and she knows and blah, 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 blah. It took another 30 minutes, I feel like at least 20 minutes before the black officer guy said, we have to find who this person is. Because me and the hairdresser were like, why isn't anybody addressing the fact that she told y'all she'll leave if y'all get rid of him? She's not going to walk out until you get rid of him. And they're not even looking for him yet.
But then also, we
hear somebody say,
okay, good.
Finally, we hear somebody say, okay, we have to look for who this person is. And then at that point, the search begins. But I'm like, if she's telling y'all that's all she needs, why are y'all waiting so long to give her what she needs, which is, let's go out here, find out who had an incident with her earlier today. They didn't do that. I mean, when you watch it, or if you ever watch it again, see how long that is. That is a very long time before they even address the fact that she brought him up. Because I was like, I asked my hairdresser, I said, did they even hear what she said? And she said, I'm trying to figure that out because why aren't they looking for him?
Okay, so I didn't pick up that because I thought
it took forever.
I thought that what the thing was. But even if it did take forever, you got to think about it. If you were talking to somebody that potentially has a bomb inside of a whatchamacallit and has a gun, you really think that they're just going to come out?
I don't know, but the point
But I'm saying from the police standpoint. That's what I'm saying, from the police standpoint. So they might just be like, okay, she's just saying this just so, whatever. So it might just be another time her being like, no, I'm going to come out that white man, and blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, okay, so this is like a real thing. That's what I was thinking.
When Tiana told her that she finally found the man, when was it? At night, right? When she finally, wasn't that when she walked up to the door and told her?
Yeah.
And it was night.
Yeah.
She told them during the day.
I know, but then also you just said that the FBI showed up during the day, and then by the time they get inside the van, it's night. So
So that's what I'm saying. The continuity of it is driving me crazy.
So yeah, I'm so into the storyline. I'm not paying attention to those little details of the daylight and the nighttime. I don't care about that. It wasn't
even about that. For me, for that part of the story with him, it was if I told you at noon. It felt like y'all ain't do nothing about it and even start looking for him till 3. And y'all ain't come to the door to tell me y'all even found him until 8. So why do you have me in here with these people? And you would think they would want to let him know or let her know as soon as possible. We found him. We got rid of him. Because they got rid of him during the day. They ain't tell her that they got rid of him until at night.
No, they didn't get rid of him during the day. The police officer? That was nighttime.
It was night when they found him and talked to him and the woman?
Yeah.
And figured out that it was him?
Yeah, it was nighttime.
Either way.
Yeah, it was nighttime strange. By the time they found out. Because it was when the FBI showed up, that's when she said, what's going on with the search for the guy. And they're like, we still can't tell. Like, we still can't find the information. Yeah, they were trying to figure out the information because her car had been impounded. Yeah. And they were trying to figure out.
It was the woman who they're trying to backtrack. And the guy who, was in the thing with her.
But they were trying to backtrack from her name and everything, but I don't know how you can backtrack a ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard that is to backtrack a ticket.
Yeah.
So now I think they were trying to backtrack the impound.
Yeah.
And then go from there because I can understand that. It's not like she got arrested or anything. This lady clearly wrote her a ticket.
Yeah.
And that was it. So, that's why I think that it would take so long for them to find it. I mean, you got a whole bunch of police officers out there. I feel like you're not going to know for sure which one is which. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
So that's why I said it took so long.
I would have been on the bullhorn. Like, who had an altercation with this woman earlier?
And do you think the police officer would have said anything? There's nothing. But I was saying.
She said there was a female who saw it happen too. So I need to know who this person is. But if you think about it, there has to be a way that you could do something like that and say, look, we are trying to de-escalate this situation. Whoever you are,
they're not going to do it. What did he say to her? You don't think so? Remember what he said to her? He's not going to do that. Yeah. He said this verbally, word to word. I'm going to find, and then that's what he said to her. So
no, I'm talking about Tiana's character to say that to all of the cops.
I know, but I'm saying that it doesn't matter if she said that or not. The police officer wouldn't have said anything because he already had in his mind what he was going to do. Yeah. Now, I will say this, that I think that this was a great movie, and I wasn't paying attention to all of those little things. Only because how many Black screenwriters or whatever have the funding to be able to do the Sinners type, films. Yeah. They don't have the, you got $40 million, so go ahead and make this movie. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's little stuff I'm not worried about because we already know Tyler Perry's movies, stuff ain't always going to be together, but the storylines will be good. So I feel like...
I think he said the whole project took 6 weeks.
Okay, so yeah.
And he only had Taraji for 2 days or 4 days because she was in between projects. So they filmed a lot of stuff around her after they filmed her.
Yeah, okay.
Which made me then realize, okay, that's where all of this other... Because that stuff was glaring to me. I couldn't not see it. It was weird.
So why were you like...
But I wasn't looking for it. That's the weird part. Yeah. I'm looking at the movie, but I'm seeing all this other stuff, and I'm like, why am I seeing all of this? So I don't know if anybody else sees that stuff.
I mean, no, I do see it, but I think that if the storyline is good, and me being an empath,
but that's where I said I didn't think it was that awesome. I thought it was okay. That's the difference too. Like me watching it, that's where I went at the very beginning. If you think about it,
and you really watched it, or did you watch it and you were like on your phone, but you sat there?
Because I had my computer there to work, and I ended up watching the whole thing instead of working. But I think that the difference is that for me personally, like I said, Taraji definitely played her butt off. I'm not even gonna say it was okay. I thought it was more than okay. I do feel like it was better than most.
Do you think that was Tyler Perry's best movie he's made?
I don't know, because I like the Why Did I Get Married movies too. So I don't know if I can say that. I'll say this. Mm-hmm. This is the part that I think made it a little less impactful for me. Mm-hmm. Is that I'm not a huge Tyler Perry fan.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right. So therefore I get so frustrated that every movie has a Black woman who's in despair, who's mad, who's frustrated, who's crying, who's upset, who's cheated on, who's struggling, who's whatever. So as I'm watching it, it probably was with a subconscious layer of,
I think that's what it is.
Here's another movie of this black
But see, you're
woman.
taking it differently than I would take it, because I'm taking it as this man is out here making movies about what people are going through every day. And now he's not just, it's not just you hear somebody talk about it, now he's bringing it to for millions. So that's how I see it.
100% get that. But I also get that it would be nice if there was, where's the silver lining? Where is the part that you can give these women hope that are watching this movie versus them knowing the suffering's never going to end?
I think the hope came from the women that were in there when they were sitting down.
Not for the women that going through. I don't think that they feel like they can look at that and feel uplifted. I think that you look at that and you say, oh man, now this is going to happen to her. And if I snap, this is what's going to happen to me. Yeah. So therefore, it's like, where is it that, like, when does he make a movie where it's going to be, okay, this is the black woman's struggle, but here is the joy on the other side of that. Here is the uplifting. Maybe she won the lottery. Maybe she did this. Maybe she did that. Maybe she didn't really do this.
Was it Good Deed? What was the one that he was?
No Good Deed? That's probably not.
Is that the one with no, I think it's Good Deeds, and it's the one where he was like a lawyer or something like that, and
But I mean, to do one out of 45 movies, you know what I mean? But that's what I mean. So I think that's part of it for me, is that he has, and I mean,
that's his style of movie, correct? Exactly. That's his style. That is his style. His style is drama and what's going to pull on your heartstrings.
Right. Yeah. And if you look at what people are saying online, they're going to be on one side or the other of that fence, right? They're going to be, it's kind of like that statue in New York. They're either going to be like, oh, this is great. Oh my God, it was so emotional. It really got to me.
It defines the United States. Absolutely.
I had dinner with a girlfriend of mine tonight, and she was like, oh my gosh, I watched the movie and it ripped me apart. Like, I just remember that struggle of me being a single parent and doing this and doing that and trying to make all this stuff work. And oh, by the way, I had to watch a comedy afterwards because
she had to bring herself back up.
Oh my gosh, she said she was so like this. And I'm looking at her like, that wasn't me. Like, I didn't even...
because you haven't gone through it, or you haven't seen anybody go through that struggle.
And I'm not a parent.
No, you have seen people go through the struggles. But I think
I'm not a parent. I didn't see it in the same way. And then I think I did have the Tyler Perry lens, of course. Yeah. So for me, it's like, it probably would have hit a little bit differently if it was like, everything that happened didn't quite happen the way that it looked like it did. Like, if it was a movie where it looked like she did this and it looked like this happening, yes, she was going through all this drama and this. But then she found out, oh, I happen to have this lottery ticket and this ticket that I bought.
That's not everybody's reality, though. Yeah. I know you're saying you're looking for a silver lining to make it like movies like that.
Not to say that everything has to have that, but typically, if you look at Tarantino, or if you, not even Tarantino.
I get what you're saying.
But if you look at Scorsese, or if you look at, what's his name, Spielberg, a lot of their movies, in most movies, even Marvel movies, they have, villain, terrible thing that happens, good person, terrible thing happens, there's some kind of crux of what you need to do to resolve the issue. A movie outline that's movie 101. He don't do that. Right.
But that's why I like this movie, because it's like, you are doing the things that nobody else is doing. It's like it's like when you're watching a movie, it shouldn't always have to have a happy ending.
Yes, but there should sometimes be a happy ending. For him. Yeah, I just feel like for him. I'm not talking about every movie in the history of movies. Yeah. I'm just saying, Tyler, why are you constantly making black women look and feel like they never can get ahead, like they're always in a struggle? And that's why I said I like the Why Did I Get Married? Because that's the first time you felt like you saw people who were like normal people who weren't always in a struggle. No, they weren't multimillionaires. Maybe a couple, maybe one of them was or something. But but it was like good people who are doing good things and living their lives, but they still have drama, and that was okay. Like, to have drama is fine, but it's like, does it always have to be somebody who's snot crying or angry or wants to drown her husband in a tub? Like those types of things. So that's the part.
Yeah, I think that what it is that he's just writing probably what he knows, what he's seen. And what he's heard. I think that's what it is. And
he's made billions of dollars.
Because of the thing is that, one, people like, nobody likes, anything bad is something that sells. anything that is bad. So like
that's why you look at the news, and the news is all bad news.
But then also it's like gossip. Gossip is always something, that is just. Yeah. It's not going to be a positive. There's no positive gossip. It'd be like, ooh, did you hear that such and such and such and such? It's like, if you hear that somebody's doing something good, you're like, oh yeah, that such and such is doing something good. And that's the end of the conversation. Mm-hmm. But if it's something that's bad is happening, then it's going to keep going and keep going and keep going.
So I guess for him, he's like, look, y'all can hate me for me going ahead and constantly telling the story about the black woman struggle, but that's what I know, and that's what I've made my billion off of. And so I'm just
it's like, so like, so for me, when you said that, it's like, how I see it is Tyler Perry, his movies are the things that black families, black women or whatever have to go through, the struggle, even if it's not a silver lining or whatever, but this is the struggle, is the same thing as Agatha Christie writing all of these mystery books. It's like, this is her thing. This is her genre. Her genre is, okay, it's like clues that we have to all put together and blah, 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 blah. So I see it that is how his
maybe that's how he looks at it. It's like his drama, his genre is, but he does other stuff too. I don't know. It's hard to say, but so maybe that's what it is.
I feel like for him,
but it's also
Shonda
absent black men. Like, he never has movies where the men are active in their families' lives, or they're cheating, or they're whatever. It's like, it's just a weird paradox of how he portrays black families and
it's not portraying it. That is what's happening.
No, I understand that, but you also have the other side of that he doesn't speak to. So it just.
But he got Shonda Rhimes for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, I'm just saying, like, I feel like that is his thing. That what's his name? Alfred Hitchcock. He was into horror movies. Like, I feel like this is his thing. This is what I push through, and this is what I want to put out, because it's the things that the rest of the world doesn't get to see. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's pushing it out there, like, to just open up people's eyes so they can understand what the whole issue of the whatchamacallit. But I did feel like it was one of his best movies.
Okay.
And I think that it's because if I didn't know, if it wasn't blown up that it was a Tyler Perry movie.
I didn't know it was a Tyler Perry movie until after I had watched it too. That's the crazy part.
Okay.
As I'm watching it the whole time, seeing all the inconsistencies, wondering what's going on. Why is this? And then at the end, I saw it was a Tyler Perry movie like a day later. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, now I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It was kind of
even if it was horrible, I would still say it was good, because I did the same thing for Sinners. Because I'm going like Issa Rae. I'm going for everything black. So yeah, but that's what I want to talk. That's what all I had to talk about was Straw. And let me tell you that if you were a single mother, if you were a struggling mother issue, even if you were a struggling father or anything like that, this is a triggering movie. Yeah. You may have to tell your therapist, hey, we're going to watch this movie together. Because I might be going through some things. I might have to pause this and have a conversation with you, something like that. Have your therapist on speed dial, friends, something, whatever, whoever is going to be your person for your.
And if you're an empath, it can be triggering.
Oh, if you're an empath, it's the worst movie to watch.
Yeah. So I'm not an empath. So
yeah. I know, and I think that's that. But see, that's also the thing is, like, all of Tyler Perry's movies are emotional movies, but you're not an empath, so you're not going to feel that.
Are they?
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, even with the Why Did I Get Married? That is so emotional when Jill Scott's sitting at that table. And then all this stuff is happening with her husband and all her friends are there. That's got to kill you. Yeah. That's why she grabbed the bottle, hit him on the head, and just got up and walked away. Yeah. Like, so all his movies are super emotional. So I feel like that would make sense. Like, if you're not an empath, then you're not going to feel like.
And the other part of it too, maybe, is because what I do is life coaching. Yeah. And I can't be an empath because I would take on the burden of everybody else's stuff. So I have to listen to it with a lens or a wall to a degree. And so therefore, I think even when it comes to movies and things like that, I'm probably like, it's not that I don't care. That's not it. But it's just like, okay, I'm taking it in, but I'm taking it in from a perspective of the art and the craft of it, which is probably why I'm paying attention to other things.
Exactly.
The acting of it. So as opposed to like, oh, I'm in the movie. Because I never watch a movie and feel like I'm in the movie.
Every time I watch a movie, I'm in the movie.
That's part of it too. When you're an empath, you're in it. Where there's occasionally, it depends on the actor. And like I said, she was good. She was really good. But I feel like there's certain movies, the one that I can remember of, like, and it's going to sound weird that this is the one, but it was when Will Smith played The Pursuit of Happiness.
In that bathroom?
Yeah. Like
that bathroom scene in the subway.
With the bathroom scene. And even with that guy asking for his last $5, like, I'll give it back to you. And you know this guy has money, but he didn't have any. And he's giving this guy, like, it was like almost didn't even want to give it to him.
And I wouldn't have given it to him.
And so, but he gave it to him. And then it's like, but those kind of things and that emotion I could absolutely feel. Like, because it was just, it was acted so well and it was portrayed so well. And it was like, just the filming of it and all of that made it seem, excuse me, so... It was just beautifully done. Yeah. And so those kind of things I get into. But most other stuff, it's just like I'm just seeing it as a show on TV.
Okay. So this is my thing. I know. So if it's when we have those where you're like, oh, I'm going to talk about such and such. I'd be like, oh yeah, I watched that. Yeah. That's because I wasn't into that. I was not in. So if I'm into something, I am literally like, I'm holding the camera. That's how I am when I'm watching a movie.
Director.
I'm not the director, but I'm the cameraman. I'm just like, we panning to the left. Got it. You know,
that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Okay, so, but that's how I am. I am like really in the movie. So if I'm watching or a TV show, if I'm watching something, and I feel like I'm watching it, like if I'm looking around my room too much, this is not a good one for me.
It's not the thing.
It's not, because it's not holding my attention. It's like the feeling of it. So, but yeah, check it out. Straw on Netflix.
Okay.
Yes. What do you have next, sis?
So I have the movie The Gorge.
The Gorge?
Yeah.
I don't even know nothing about that.
You haven't heard of that? It's on Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
And it is, I don't even know how I got pulled into this movie, honestly, because it's not a movie I would typically even watch, which is weird.
Sounds like me with Murderbot.
Excuse me. Right. Yeah. So, maybe Apple has a great way of putting on a good trailer.
They do, because then when you watch the movie, you're like, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. But like, the Apple, whoever's doing their Apple trailers should do trailers for movies. Like in the big screen.
Not give so much away.
So you can have the surprises, you can have, the plot twist, whatever. But then also, if it's a crappy movie, you can clip it together enough to make people want to come and see it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yeah.
All right, so the movie, and I'm sorry in advance that might have this tickle in my throat, so I'm trying to get rid of that. But it has Miles Teller in it, who is Levi Kane, so you might know him from like the newest Top Gun movie.
Okay.
It has Anya Taylor-Joy. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, I did watch this. It was one of those movies I was like, I watched it, but I wasn't into it.
That is too funny. So she plays Drasa. Drasa. You have Sigourney Weaver in it.
Yes, Sigourney.
And she's a great character in there. I can't remember what her name is. And you have this guy, Soap Darisu, who plays JD. Those are the kind of the main characters. So anyway.
Oh, so Sigourney Weaver was Bartholomew.
That's right, Bartholomew. And so basically, the way that the storyline goes is that you have this guy, and he's ex-military. He's pretty much meeting with Sigourney Weaver, and she's like, hey, we have this assignment for you. It's going to at least be a year. Can you, how many kills have you had when you were in the military? Who's going to miss you if you're gone, for all this time and blah, 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 which I thought that was a weird question. Because
I feel like that's what the CIA probably does. They're just like, hey, this person over here, they've been through the foster system for a long time. They don't have nobody. So let's see if we can recruit them.
Yeah, maybe so. And so, so you can tell that he's kind of a loner. He doesn't really have anybody or anything. He was so excited when a dog ran up to him on the beach, right? So therefore, he's like, nope, I don't have any ties, any responsibilities. So they drug him and put him on a plane, and they basically ship him off somewhere, and he doesn't know where he is. They give him a parachute, and they tell him to jump out the back, and when you land, follow these coordinates, and it'll tell you where to go. So that's his story. Yeah. So then you have the story of Drasa, and so she is someone who, when you first see her, she's killing somebody, basically. Like, she's a sniper, and she's murdering some, I don't know, head of state or something.
Yeah.
So she goes and sees her father, and basically he is like her when she does all of these things, you can tell that it weighs on her sometimes. And so she goes to see her father, and he's like, give me your pain. Like, give me your sorrow. Give me your burden.
See, I missed all of this, and I sat in my bed and I watched this movie. So that tells you
you weren't paying attention.
I was not feeling the movie.
You wasn't feeling it, yeah. And so he says, give me your burden. And so she's like, digging through her purse, and she pulls out the round. So when she shot, the bullet casing that comes out, she saves those, and she gives them to her dad. And then she laid her head on his chest and stuff, and you could tell that she just felt better. Like, I'm releasing this to my dad. Yeah. I no longer have to carry the burden of this murder that I did. Because she was like, he had kids, all that kind of stuff. But she knows what she's been hired to do. So her father puts that bullet into a huge bag of bullets. Like, you can tell she's probably killed like 300 people in her life or whatever. So therefore, it's like, all right. So it was like, give me your shame. That's what the word was. Shame. Okay. Give me your shame. And though he just throws that in a bag with all the other bullet casings. And then he proceeds to tell her that, well, if you're going to be gone for a year, because she's going for a year as well, that I won't be here when you're done, because I have cancer and it's all over my body and it's not gonna, whatever. So think of me on my birthday. Just think of me, yada da, and everything's fine. Do what you have to do. And of course, she's super sad and all of that because her dad is her person.
Yeah, her everything. Yeah.
So then after Teller, I forgot what I've said his name was already, but after his character, what is his character's name again? Levi, thank you. So after Levi gets off of the plane, he's walking through all these woods, he's getting to this big, huge hole in the ground, basically, that has like the mist coming from it. And you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, what is that toxic...
exactly. Do the coordinates. So that's when he bumps into JD. And so he and JD are walking through the woods, and then they end up going to this, like, not a wall, but like this tower.
Yeah, it's a huge tower.
And so basically JD's giving him the lay of the land and saying, look, when you're done in a year, you'll do the same thing. You have to go through this lay of the land. But this is just explaining everything. This is your route. This is what you do every day. You go and check these coordinates. You do this. You grow your own vegetables and you blah blah blah. And you are on the east side. The other person is on the west side. Yeah. You can see each other through these binocular things, but you do not communicate with each other.
Yeah, y'all can't talk with each other.
You can't talk to each other. You're all supposed to protect the world from what's in this hole.
Yeah, whatever's coming out of this toxic
fog.
Yeah,
exactly. And he's like, well, what is it? And then all of a sudden you hear the screeching and this like loud noise. And you're like, what in the world is moaning down there, screeching down there? Like, what is it that you're protecting? And at first he was like, we have to protect, that's what his question was, we have to protect something from going in. And he was like, no, you have to protect what's trying to come out
of it, yeah.
And so then he's like, that's weird. So he, proceeds to take his post. The other guy leaves. Now, when the other guy leaves, he's getting on a helicopter so that way the helicopter can take him off. And that was an interesting situation. I don't know if you saw that or remembered it.
No, I didn't.
It was interesting.
I remember I remember him talking to him and like showing him around and stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't
like moonshine or something.
Yeah,
like
but I don't remember. Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay, good. Continue.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't remember the ending of the movie actually. No, I was just sitting here like, what happened?
What happened to it? You might have fell asleep on it.
No, because it was the daytime. I was here cleaning my room.
Oh, you remember? Oh, so you were just doing something else while it was on in the background.
Well, no, I sat there and watched the movie, but then after a while of me kind of like in and out of it, I was like,
yeah, I kind of liked it. That's funny. Okay. So then he realizes that as he is in his tower, he goes to get a book because there's nothing really you can do. There are TVs and stuff. So he's like a bunch of wall of books. But he realized as he went to go grab one that there's a wall behind it that has a lot of writing on it. And it's been like since the 1940s.
Oh, wow.
Like World War II or something. Maybe it was one. I don't know, whichever World War.
I wonder if this is true. Like, do we have a hole in the United States that's gonna
somewhere? Well, no, we don't know where he was.
We don't know. Yeah. And then also, Dasha, was it Drasha? Drasha had an accent.
Yeah, but we don't know where
we don't know.
Came from or
I'm saying, but we don't know if it says the United States.
No, it's not the United States because he had said something like he felt like when he landed and got to the ground, he was like, I feel like we're on the outside of Finland or Sweden.
I remember him saying that.
Yeah, like something out there. So anyway, you have all these people who have written on the wall and they're saying certain things that lead you to believe that there's something, like, just to keep the faith this whole year that you're here, basically, right?
It's like inspirational
stuff. Just stuff to just be like, okay, just, stay the course, keep the faith. Because again, it's isolating. You can't even talk to the person who's across the way.
Yeah.
Well, guess what happens? They ignore the rules.
Yeah.
And they talk to each other through big white pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And so they're like writing notes to each other because, of course, he's a guy. He looks across, he sees a woman. He's like, oh, okay, hey, there's a woman over there. There's not a guy over there. And then the woman is like, oh,
I remember who looked first.
He looked first, and he saw her, and she was like cutting a piece of wood or something, like standing away from the tower. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of like looked over her shoulder, and that's when he realized, oh, that's a woman, not a guy.
Yeah.
And then when she got up there, she was like, today's my birthday, I think, was what she had wrote on a piece of paper or something.
Yeah. She just said that. I just realized something. What? Hold on. I just realized something. I did what you did with Tyler Perry's movie with this movie.
Oh, what?
Because they're in the tower, they have to be maybe 6 football fields away, maybe 3 football fields away, 4 or something like that. Yeah. So how are they just looking over and like?
They're looking through the telescopes.
No. When they were just walking around and then they just look over and then just be like, oh, she's trying to tell me something. How can you tell that? You can barely see the tower, bro. Like, I don't understand that. Like, you have a 50 cal, like a minigun that is attached to the tower. And, like, those things shoot pretty far. So, therefore, it's like,
you had to be far away.
You had to be far away. So, that was the thing that I nitpicked about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Because when okay, so there you go.
Yeah. So, I get it.
So you do it. You
I
just
get it.
didn't recognize you sometimes do it. Yeah. So she wrote the note, and then he was like, we're not supposed to be in contact with each other. So, that's what he writes back. And then she proceeds to just be like, don't care. This is my name. Today's my birthday. Yeah. I'm going to do what I want to do. Like all of that. And so, anyway, he was like, oh, that's kind of funny. So then he pours a drink and then she, has her drink. And then they're just kind of sitting there. And over time, they just start writing each other notes and stuff. And so this is all like the precursor to the actual movie, which is... There's some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff going on. And you put together that the two of them are going to connect in some way, shape, or form. And I won't go into how they rig something up to make it that happens. But also, the Gorge is an interesting place. That's all I'm going to say. And based on that, it was like, once you got in there, it's like, will you ever be able to get out? But also... what the heck happened to make it so that the Gorge is the Gorge? Like, what are these things that are trying to come out?
But then also, should I be breathing in this greenish yellow looking stuff that's coming out the
That's
earth?
what I was wondering. Like, when you went down,
once you touch it, once you have around it, is it like now I'm contaminated? It's like radiation.
But and that's what I was wondering too, because even with how the beginning of the movie started, and I don't want to give anything away, but basically, yes, I was wondering if they were like, no, we're not really fond of having people come back from the Gorge.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even Sigourney Weaver comes into the Gorge area later, and I don't know if you saw that part or not either, but when she comes in on her helicopter and all of that, but it kind of felt like we don't want certain people to be able to come back from this. We want you to, like, once you're in the Gorge, you're in the Gorge.
Yeah, but then it's like, but now you know each other, so now it's like, this is not what we wanted, so now we might have to kill you.
I mean, it's like a weird...
If you can't follow the rules of not talking to that person, then what rules are you going to break about?
Yeah, because at one point, they're looking at something, and Sigourney Weaver sees them together looking at something.
Yeah.
So she's just like, I know that y'all didn't follow the rules. So, there's all of that. But, so I thought that the ending of the movie was kind of interesting. I mean, obviously, some of it's unbelievable. But I thought it was a cute movie. I would watch it. It was entertaining. It was slow in the beginning, but I would say it was definitely entertaining enough to keep my interest. Okay. But it sounds like yours not so much. So I think it just depends on what kind of movie you are interested in. But it did have some weird things going on with it. Not horror, but creepy looking stuff, like the things that are trying to come out. So on that note, that is The Gorge. It's on Apple TV Plus. And so what do you have now, sis?
So I just want to go over some hot topics. All right, so just to go ahead and talk about the craziness that is happening here in these great United States that are not united at the moment. So, one thing is, so a lot of people know about the immigration, ICE being here, trying to deport illegals and now legal citizens of the United States. And
it's interesting. Is it everybody illegal or is it mainly Hispanic illegals? Like, are they going after Asian illegals?
Oh, yeah. They were going into nail salons. They are going into spas, restaurants, everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did see them in a nail salon. So which is like, it's just anybody. But my thing is, it's like, so if we can now deport United States citizens, so that means it's like 95% of the population can be deported, correct? Because we're all illegal immigrants here.
Yes, but they don't see it that way.
No. How dare you see it in a different way than how we see it? What's wrong with you?
Depends on the color of your skin, sir or ma'am.
No, it depends on, well, not only that, it's not only the color of your skin, but it's like, depends on how far down can we keep you.
But my thing is this, isn't his wife married to him and probably could be deported?
Yeah, somebody said that before, but I mean, like.
So, what's the difference?
I mean, once he'd probably deport her. I could see him deporting her.
Oh, God.
Seriously, like, if they don't talk, that she don't even hold his hand or nothing like that. So I feel like,
he'd be like, deport her.
Yeah, he'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm done with her. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's go into things that are happening. So on Saturday, there was a big parade, and I'll go over everything that happened.
All right, let's just say we recorded it.
Yeah, we pre-recorded this. Okay, so on Saturday is going to be, and I will tell you next week what actually happens, but it's going to be a King's Day? Is it King's Day or something like that? So it's
supposed to be a military parade.
He's
saying that it's the military appreciation parade for 200. It's supposed to have always been a military recognition.
Because it's Flag Day, right?
No, it's just supposed. I don't know.
It's a Box Day or something. It's some day.
It's his birthday. But
besides his birthday.
But so always, no matter who was going to be president, there was going to be a recognition of the military's 250 years. This weekend, there was always going to be something. There was not going to be a parade. Yeah,
it's Flag Day, so that's why they were doing. It was always a recognition on Flag Day for.
Yeah, but there was going to be some kind of recognition, not military tanks going down the street in Washington D.C.
Yes. So yeah.
But did you hear about the tanks going down the street in Washington D.C. and what that's going to do?
Probably gonna mess up the roads.
It's going to cost over $16 million worth of damage to the roads already that they know of because of the tanks and the infrastructure of the streets.
It's so
can't
heavy.
handle the heaviness of the tanks. So they're going to have tanks. They're going to have military vehicles. They're going to have people walking. They're going to have the horses. They're going to have all this stuff, and the structure may not be able to withstand it and handle
Maybe they'll fall in.
I hope not, because I don't want.
I don't want anybody getting hurt.
So, but the thing is
if it stops the parade, I don't have a problem with that.
Congress asked the coordinator of whatever how much money, with Doge trying to save so much money in Washington, right? Elon going in and closing down things and making sure that everything was supposed to be shut down. That was an extra cost. This parade is an extra cost. There was not supposed to be a parade. People are calling it King's Day because they know that Trump wants to do it on this day because it's his birthday, so it falls in alignment. And he's always wanted to have a parade since his first administration because he knows that in China they do those parades and they have the person sitting in the stands, Kim Jong-il or whatever.
It's in Korea. Yeah, in Korea.
In Korea, in Korea they have those parades and, and that's what he wants for himself.
That's what he wants for the United States.
Yes, so Well, that in Hitler's regime, but that's a whole other
but
because really, then I was telling you before, I said him going around and pulling people out of their homes and pulling people out of businesses is exactly the same thing that was happening with Anne Frank.
Absolutely, yeah.
So therefore, it's not very different than that. No. Other than we don't think people are dying in these, detention centers.
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
We don't know what's happening with people trying to get deported.
Yeah, and that was the thing. One of my friends, her cousin is a immigration lawyer, and she was saying that one of the ladies that actually they had grabbed at her, as soon as she walked into the courthouse, when they grabbed her, she was saying to herself, the attorney was saying to herself, she was like, but she's not even getting deported. She's she's just going to a concentration camp. That's all she's doing. She's just going to be at a camp. She's not getting deported. It's not like they just put her on a plane. Because they're not just putting her on a plane. She's in a camp.
Yeah,
she's in a detainment camp.
To places, and then they
to detainment camps. But then it's so
when do they get deported?
But how do you know where to send these people to? You just so if it's if somebody was Guatemalan, you just send them to Guatemala, and then they get off the tarmac, and then they're just I'm just here now.
Figure out where I go in Guatemala to get where I need to go, because they're not going to give them any money to get to where.
Yeah, but then also but I was just thinking are they going to send them to the general area where they came from, or are they just going to send them? You know
I'm pretty sure they'll just drop them off.
Because if it was the United States, it's if somebody's from New York, they don't want to get dropped off in California.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, that's true. But I guess, but the difference is that, okay, we're dropping you off in Mexico City because you came from Mexico City.
Yeah.
Versus, it'd be we're dropping you off in New York. Now, it could be Buffalo and you were in Manhattan. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but saying, you talking about size-wise.
Yeah.
No, I get that. But I was just saying, in general, it's you don't know for sure.
Yeah,
where they're going to actually.
It's so unorganized. It could even be I'm dropping you off in Venezuela and you were supposed to be in Mexico. You never know.
Oh yeah.
But it is.
That's very true.
Now you're in Guadalajara, and then whatever you were supposed to be in Belize.
No, exactly. So Trump did go ahead and get the Marines and had them to come and get ready to apply force.
Yeah, if necessary, for anybody who tries to challenge the parades or whatever.
Yes, but not only that,
they hate America.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And everybody's like, no, we love America.
Yeah,
that's why we don't want to have
we
a
hate
king.
you. Yeah, it's a difference.
We don't want to have a king.
So, but they were saying that once he got all these Marines to come over here and everything, and they're actually they're working with ICE. They're working with ICE. Mm-hmm. So now that they have all these Marines over here, as of Tuesday. Mm-hmm. The Marines had nowhere to eat. They had no food. They had no beds. They had no nothing. There was pictures and videos of them laying on the floor sleeping. Yeah. They didn't have water for these people.
Right. You don't plan because you don't plan. You just throw something out your mouth, but then you're not what's the infrastructure that goes into making sure that people have everything they need once we say for you to do this.
Yes. And I heard somebody be like, well, they're the military. They're used to having barely nothing and being able to get by. Oh, absolutely. So I do know that now the Marines have detained some U.S. citizens. They've already detained their first U.S. citizen, which apparently that you cannot do.
They did that a long time ago.
What do you mean?
I thought that they had detained that guy who was a U.S. citizen. They just assumed he wasn't, and they actually shipped him off.
No, I'm talking about the Marines, not ICE.
The Marines.
Marines. The Marines are not.
Oh, they're not authorized.
They're not authorized to do this, but they detained somebody. So they're saying that they can detain people, but they cannot send them to jail or to anything like that. They can only detain them and I guess hand them off.
Okay. So it's like a citizen's arrest.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that done. But yes, correct. But with force, because these are Marines. They're pretty badass. So yeah, that's happened. Also, so now that they are setting up everything for this parade, they had barricades all around the Capitol. Mm-hmm. The veterans that were standing outside were protesting, saying they're standing the barricades are really far out from the Capitol. Okay. These older men that were breaking through the barricades, it took them a good while for them to get to the steps. They just wanted to get to the steps and sit down and protest. Okay. But they are there because they're saying that this is unlawful. You cannot use the military to justify what you are trying to do, because now the U.S. military is not supposed to be doing the things that Trump has had them doing right now. Mm-hmm. So they're against that, and they're just like, no, you can't have them do this. You can't have them do that. You can't have them do that. So that's how the protest started. And then all they did was they just broke down the barricade, and then they went and they sat on the steps of the Capitol, and, they're saying, what they're doing, their little chant or whatever. But I think that is awesome that the military is, like, some of the veterans are doing that, because they are the ones who are just like, yeah, like, we're not pawns. Mm-hmm. This is still our country. Like, this is our land. So, like, you gonna have us fighting each other? Like, this is not what we need. So,
and I just want to make another point too, and it's gonna sound like a side point, which is
no, you go ahead.
That the other side to all this that we have to keep in mind is that with Trump deporting so many Mexicans, and so many Mexicans had voted for him, why are you deporting the people who voted for you if you already said that you want to run a third term? Because he said he wants to run a third term.
If he's going to be
that, but he wants to be king too.
That's the thing.
He doesn't care that he's deporting them, because he feels in his head
I'm going to be in charge.
Them. Yeah. So therefore, I am in my office now, so I won't ever need them again. So it doesn't matter if I deport them. So that in itself is very telling.
Yes,
and there are a lot of people who voted for him who were the top of his, campaign things, and people who spoke at the national conventions and all of that, and they have since been deported. So therefore, they are like, he lied to us. We didn't realize that this was what it was going to be, and he promised that this wasn't going to happen. And I'm like, who were you listening to? Like, it's just so ridiculous to me. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
But all right, we're starting to get over time, so I'm gonna do this last. I will say two more things. One thing, Khaby, the biggest TikTok media person ever.
And he's the one who just makes facial expressions. Hand expressions. That's it.
He actually was detained by ICE, and they allowed him to go ahead and get him to deport himself back. Exactly. And apparently it was somebody that was Trump's son's friend who turned him in.
Oh yeah, the young guy.
Yeah. So I did want to say that, but another thing about
he overstayed his visa. So that's why he was here. He overstayed his visa, and he was in movies, and he was doing all.
But
this
they didn't
stuff.
say that. But they didn't say he I've noticed that when they say stuff, they will be like, "Yes, this person." They overstayed their visa, and they blah 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 blah. But they don't say like if they were actually actively trying to get a citizenship or what they were doing, because it could be like, it's going out, and then because they're so backed up, because we are the United States, that is going to be pushed, and it's pushed back. So some of these people, we don't even know if they even had a court hearing to be able to do this. But in Florida, the sheriff in Florida actually has some things to say about the things that are happening in Florida for the deportation and ICE and everything that's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and play this so you can hear this.
His own words.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
So it's intimidation before you do anything. Yes. So let me just tell you now that you'll probably die. And so therefore, because some of those things you're going to be dead anyway. They're not even going to you flee, we're going to chase you down and you'll go to jail tired, or we'll kill you. One or the other.
Yeah. And you know what? It's just that I can understand, hey, there are if whatever your action is, there's an equal and opposite reaction, so if this does happen, then this is what's going to happen. But for you to then put in extra things like our big beautiful dogs are going to come and bite you because it's
the big beautiful bill, so when I have a big beautiful dog,
that's true. So but it's the whole thing of that is very much like, so you are gun-ho to just go out here and just start blasting.
Yeah, I mean, because it's basically martial law at this point, that, there are no rules when it comes to what the government or the military and all of that and the police and all of that can do. So therefore it's like, yeah, if there are no rules, then we're basically telling you that, you might think that you have some say and some rights as a U.S. citizen, and we're telling you that you no longer have those same rights as a U.S. citizen, that we will shut you down and we will not be held accountable for it because the highest law of the land isn't going to hold us accountable to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's basically what it all boils down to. So as you think of these different things that you are, wanting to protest and do, just be safe. To not necessarily put yourself in a situation of harm.
But you know what? What I've seen is that, and I've seen this all over, is a lot of press are getting shot with rubber bullets.
Yeah. Well, nobody respects the press.
Yeah. So it's like, but this is the thing. But other countries respect our press.
No, but they haven't respected our press since the first Trump administration, where he said everything was fake news when it came from the real
exactly.
press.
Yeah. So,
but I'm going to read really quickly before we go. How to Overthrow Democracy. This is what Hitler did. And Hitler's lawyer said this is what they did. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Divide the public. Use racism and naturalism to create resentment among people. Number 2, stoke grievances. Search for victims. Encourage people to find find and cash in on any imagined grievance. So just cash in on imagined grievance. Ignore the law. The rule of law is an obstacle to overcome and not to follow. So that's pretty much where we're at now, right? Create a crisis. This weekend, creating a crisis. Create a crisis so sudden and scary that it demands the suspension of law. Claim you're above the law. Say that you exist outside of judicial order, I guess is how you say it, and free to do whatever you want, which kind of the president has already said he's above the law when he said I could kill somebody and I'll never go to jail. But claim that you're above the law, so you exist outside of the law. Declare an emergency. That could potentially be this weekend as well. Claim that you're in an emergency and suspend the Constitution. Then deploy military to suppress protests. You think that's where we're at right now? So claim necessary measures needed for public security, quote unquote. And then lastly, complete takeover. Issue executive decrees, arrest any opposition, censor the media, and install cronies to lead the justice system who will do as you command. So that is the way to overthrow democracy.
Yeah, great.
So a wonderful way to end our podcast.
This is,
today.
I would just tell you, our bingo card is definitely filling up in the US of A.
Yeah, but this is the thing. For me personally, I'm going to focus on what it is that I can focus on. I'm going to do what I need to do in order to be the best person that I can be. And I'm just going to spread love. I'm going to spread love. I'm going to spread joy. I'm going to spread hope. And I am going to pray that it all ends up working out, and that if nothing else, as a person of faith, that God does what needs to happen, whatever those things are that need to happen as a person who believes, which we'll see.
Yeah.
So there you go. So on that note, y'all.
Hey guys, if you're in another country, think about us over here.
Yeah, and be just grateful.
We're your friends. We're nice people.
Yeah, just be grateful for where you are and what you have, because me right now, I'm ready to go. Like, if they deport me, I'd be like, thank you.
God. Oh, what took y'all so long?
No, I don't even, but honestly, I don't, because then they're going to have me in the little camp thing, and it'll take 4 months for them to actually deport me.
But I'd be like, can I just go ahead and fly out myself?
Yeah, can I just go ahead and use a credit card and just self-deport and just be done with it? it, and I'm so close to it anyway.
Let me tell you.
I've always wanted to retire to another country.
Let me tell you what I saw on social media really quick that I thought was hilarious. One girl said, "Oh, so you want to leave the United States? Here's what you do. You don't have the money. Take out as many loans as you can and leave."
Yeah, what are they going to do?
She said, "What are they going to do?" She said, "If you don't have to get another phone once you get to the other country."
Well, they're not going to be able to track you down. They don't even have enough people to come after you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, So just leave and don't pay it. And now you can start fresh.
Yeah, you get, $150,000, $200,000, $400,000 in loans, depending on what your credit and your pay give you.
Exactly.
And you just
shoot, if you're a family, then you got to combine
and go to a place where they can't extradite you.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, like that's how Tina Turner in Switzerland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Okay,
that is all you got to do. So
see y'all in Switzerland.
It's a thought. It is definitely a thought.
I'll be yodeling.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to calm down, Miss. What is her name? Who does that on The Sound of Music?
The Hill.
Julie
Andrews. Julie Andrews. Yeah, that's them. All right, that's my last one. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for this episode of Sestra-Tainment.
Yes.
This was deep and
it was
dark.
Deep. Yeah.
This was a
this was America.
A name with this one. All right.
This is America. Is going to be the name.
I don't know. All right, y'all. Yeah. Well, have an amazing week. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk to you all next week, hopefully. Bye.